Welcome back to My Block Jags. I am Danilo Scurry, and we are back with another video. I know it's been a minute. Shit been kind of slow. See the bubbles in the background. Not bubbles, but balloons in the background. Had a little birthday party situation or whatever. But yeah, shit been kind of slow, so that's why it's been a minute since my last video. Last video was on the franchise tags. This video is on 2021 free agency. Point blank period free agency. Now, Jacksonville led the league in free or cap money, so everyone expected the Jaguars to take a big splash in free agency, and a lot of us was disappointed when it came to the names that we signed, and there were no big names, and it was none of the guys that we were expecting the Jaguars to go after with the needs that we have on this team. So I'm about to dive right into it. I'm not even gonna lie, I was disappointed. I was disappointed with a lot of these people that we end up picking, but it is what it is, man. Like, it's the Jaguars. And one thing about Jaguars, they're never gonna not give you what you're expecting. Jaguars are always gonna be the Jaguars. Whatever you expect from the Jaguars, if it's something new, you might as well throw that shit out, bro. Cause the Jaguars always gonna do some Jaguar type shit. Point blank period. But let's start off. We got Shaquill Griffin from Seattle. We signed him free agency, cornerback. He has a twin brother, Shaquill Griffin. But we signed the cornerback, 3-year, $40 million with a team option after the second year. So that's another cornerback. Trey Herndon was so-so last year. Sidney Jones was the better corner. We also re-signed him, so we kind of see who's going to be our starting cornerbacks with Sidney Jones, Trey Herndon, and Shaq Griffin. Shaq had 3 interceptions last year with Seattle. He was their number 1 corner. Also had 84 tackles. So he knows how to play on the field. He knows how to get around. He knows how to do what he has to do. Real good cover guy. Trey Herndon kind of struggled when it came to covering. Sidney Jones played better, even though we picked him up in the beginning of the season when he got cut. So with us re-signing Sidney Jones and also signing Shaq Griffin with I keep saying Trey Herndon with I can't even think of the rookie. CJ Henderson. With CJ Henderson, we probably can find a good 1-2 and nickel with those 3 guys. Now we also re-signed Trey Herndon, which was a head scratcher, like 100% head scratcher, because he was trash last year. He was not good, and that was the guy that they threw that was supposed to be replacing Ramsey, and he was not good at all. So why we re-signed him, I have no idea. That was a real big head scratcher, and we also didn't need him for depth. I mean, like, how do you re-sign him? Take him from the number 1 to the number 2. Now you're gonna use him as depth in what? Special teams and nickel? I don't know. Like, he just wasn't good. I didn't understand why we re-signed him, but it is what it is. We re-signed Rayshon Jenkins to a 4-year, $35 million deal with a team option after year 2. He had 2 interceptions. He's a safety. Jacksonville safeties last year just wasn't good. Wingard, the guy with the long hair. We had like 3 safeties, and it's not football season, so I can't think of the names off the top of my head. But none of them were really good. I mean, they were just guys out there. They were just guys out there playing a position. Of course, we were tanking, so we wasn't looking for the best. We were just looking for somebody to be out there. And we haven't had a good safety since Barry Church in 2017. I think Barry Church and who was the other guy? Our last good safeties was in 2017. We had Barry Church and I think it was Gibson. I think Gibson was the other safety. But those were the last time we actually had good safeties on the team was 2017. And the year after that, they just went to shit. So hopefully he helps with our secondary. Our secondary definitely needs help. We definitely need secondary. We definitely need safety help bad. And hopefully he helps. Hopefully it's not just one of the usual Jaguar free agents where we just give them money and they come here really not to, you know what I'm saying, really just to collect the check and really come out here and play and actually do something for our team and for our defense. We signed Roy Robertson Harris from Chicago, D tackle. Another weird signing. 3 years, $23 million. 10 tackles, no sacks. I don't know if he was hurt. I don't know what that's about, why he wasn't getting no playing time, why he has so little stats. I have no idea. It's very strange, and we gave him a good little bit of change for him to come here. So that's another head scratcher. Don't know what Urban is doing. Well, I do know what Urban is doing. He's trying to get depth. I ain't gonna lie. A lot of these signings are just depth. They're trying to get depth, trying to get depth on the D line, trying to get depth in the secondary. A lot of these signings are just depth. But the guys that you're drafting, the amount of money you're giving is very strange. Very strange. Um, we also traded a seventh round pick to the Saints for Malcolm Brown. He's a defensive tackle. And then we signed him to a 2-year, $11 million. I'm not sure if I think it's an extension. I think it's an extension because he had 1 year left on his deal, so it's an extension. So that means he's here for the next 3 years. I'm pretty sure it was an extension. So he's here for the next 3 years. So a lot of, like I said, a lot of this is depth. We also re-signed Dwan Smoot. Now Dwan Smoot was the best player on our team last year. He got a 2-year deal, $10 million. $2-year deal, $10 million. He was the best player on our team. He was the best defensive player on our team last year. I know somebody on Twitter. Obviously, he don't watch the Jaguars or don't know the stats. He tried to say, when I said that, he made it seem like Dwan Smoot was trash or something. I don't know what Buddy was going with this, but Dwan Smoot had, I think, 5.5, 6 sacks last year. Most sacks on the D line. When you watched him play, he definitely jumped off the screen more than Chase Young, more than Josh Allen, and he didn't even start. And he was the guy jumping off the screen, jumping off the ball. Motor was always on 100, so he was definitely hungry, and I was definitely excited to see us re-sign him. Hopefully he can get more playing time. I don't know how they're gonna do it with Chase Young, with Josh Allen. I don't know if they're gonna have him play in. Not really sure. We signed Tyson Alualu. We brought him back. So he signed for a 2-year, $6 million deal. He had 41 tackles and 1 sack with Pittsburgh Steelers. So we drafted him out of Cal. This was with Gene Smith, our old GM, who was horrible at GMing. But he drafted him, and it was a reach at the time. He was projected to go in the 3rd round. We drafted him in the 1st. But he ended up having a long career in the league. I want to say he's probably going on his 10th, 11th year in the league. And we brought him back to Jacksonville. So that's good. I mean, this is a lot of depth on the D-line. A lot of depth on the D-line to rebuild our defensive line. And I'm very happy about that because we needed help on the D-line. We needed help on the D-line. We needed help on the secondary. And that's exactly what we've done with some of these signings. Signing Shaq Griffin, signing Rashawn Jenkins. So we filling some holes. We are definitely filling holes on the defensive side of the ball. Offensive, we signed Marvin Lewis. I said this. I wrote Marvin Lewis and said Marvin Lewis, but it's Marvin Jones. We signed Marvin Jones from Detroit, 2 years, $12 million. Really good, solid receiver. He had 76 catches last year, right up under 1,000 yards, 978 yards, 9 touchdowns. That's really dope. We got another receiver to come. So you got Johnson, the tall kid, Colin Johnson, Chenault, DJ Chark. Now you have Marvin Jones. So that's going to be. I feel like I'm missing somebody. I forgot to say somebody's name, but definitely he's going to be one of the players that we're going to need for Trevor or whoever our quarterback is. Definitely going to need another weapon on offense. And kind of happy. I'm not even going to lie. I'm happy we got him. Now, what was strange is last week, Urban said that our tight end room, we need to strengthen our tight end room. We've had the worst tight end room in the last decade, probably, for the Jaguars. Worst tight end room ever. Had the worst tight end room. So you're like, all right, we're going to go take a big splash in tight end. Jonnu Smith is out there. The Henry kid from the Chargers was out there. So we definitely got to at least get one of them. So then early in the week, we have Josh Oliver, who we drafted from San Diego State or wherever he came from. What did Urban do? He trades him to another team. Urban trades him to another team. It's like, how are you trying to make our tight end room better when you trade a tight end? You trade a young guy on our team. Granted, he's been on our team for 2 years and we haven't seen him play, and I kind of want to see him play. He's been injured. He's been hurt. He looks like a bust, but we still haven't seen him play. And we traded him to, I don't even know who we traded him to, but it didn't make sense for you to say we need to strengthen our tight end room, but then you trade a tight end. The one tight end who kind of really don't know what he has. Granted, since he's been hurt, so you trade him. Then you don't get Jonnu Smith, you don't get Henry. They go to New England, kill all the Jacksonville dreams with those guys. And then you end up getting Chris Manhurst. Manhurst from Carolina, who no one knew who he was. Signed him 2 years, $6.6 million. Then when you look him up, he only had 6 catches for 52 yards. Why would you sign a tight end for a 2-year deal, $6 million, that only caught the ball 10 times? Or 6 times, I'm sorry, 6 times. Why would you sign a guy like that? It makes no sense. But that's what we did. We signed him. Again, does not strengthen the tight end room, but Urban decided to sign him. Big head scratcher. To this day right now, our tight end room is even worse, in my opinion, than what it was before, because now we have a guy who only technically, I think, was a blocker. At least with Josh, whatever his name was, it was some mystery to him because we didn't get to see him play, and the only thing we were going off of was his college tape. So this, again, is a head scratcher. It was very strange, didn't really make sense. Another signing that didn't make sense, we signed Carlos Hyde. And he was here before. We traded for him 2 years ago, I think, maybe 3 years ago, from Cleveland. He came here, then we didn't use him. When Fournette hurt his hamstring, we needed a running back. We traded for Carlos Hyde. We used him for like the first 2 games. Then when Fournette came back, we was just like, all right, bro, we're not using you. And we didn't use him, traded a 4th-round pick for him, didn't use him. And he refused to go in the game, one of the games. Marone was like, we had a player that refused to go in the game. Come to find out, it was Carlos Hyde. He goes to Houston the next year, runs all over us, 1,000-yard runner. He goes to Seattle, does his thing there, and then we end up bringing him back. Signed him 2 years, $4.5 million. Last year, he had 81 carries for 356 yards and 4 touchdowns. Again, it was a strange signing because if he did refuse to go in the game when he was here before, why would Tony Khan and Shah Khan agree to bring him back? Sportsmanship, attitude, all that type shit. Just a bad player. I mean, you don't do that. You don't do some shit like that, especially on the field to the team that pays you. But Urban Meyer brought him back. I think he played for Ohio State in college, so maybe it's some college shit. I don't know, but it's strange. It didn't make sense. I know a lot of people scratched their heads when it came to that signing, to Carlos Hyde and to the tight end Chris Manhurst. Like, these signings really didn't make sense, and they didn't make the team better. That's a point blank period. They didn't make the team better. So what was up with the signing? And just today, just found out right before I made this video, we ended up re-signing Logan Cook to 4 years, $12 million. So we re-signed our punter. Was he a good punter? I would say so. Because our offense didn't really move much. So he was punting the ball a shit lot. So I'm just going to take it for the re-signing and that he was a punter on a team that had 0 offense, that he was good. I can't tell you nothing about that. I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't know nothing about punting. One of the big surprises was the Cam Robinson signing. When we franchise tagged him, I thought we would have tried to go after Trent Williams, big left tackle, very talented. Was talented in Washington. Went to San Fran. Was talented in San Fran. I think he's 32 or 33, but still, I mean, he's still moving, still making things happen. He was a big free agent. Everyone thought we was going to sign him, knowing that we got Trevor coming in, that we wanted a big, solid left tackle to protect Trevor's blind side, and then we re-signed Cam. It was Cam. Again, I said this in my last video. Cam played better last year, but I'd rather have Trent Williams. I'd rather spend that dollar for Trent Williams than to re-sign Cam, just being honest. And I was looking for more offensive line signings. But we just re-signed it, Shaquill, and I think he's a guard or something. I think he's a guard. We didn't really do much with the offensive line. We kept the same offensive line that we had last year, which didn't really block well. They weren't terrible, but they didn't block well. But that's the offensive line that you're going to have blocking for Trevor. Come on now. I thought we learned from what Cincinnati did with Joe Burrow, but obviously, we're going out there with the same guys that we had last year as far as with the offensive line. So, hopefully this thing works, man. Hopefully it works. You'll think with the #1 draft pick, the highest graded quarterback coming out since John Elway that the first thing they would think about is upgrading the offensive line. But I guess Urban's saying, nah, we straight on that end. So I guess he didn't want to. That's, I don't know. Again, some head scratchers going on in free agency. But it is what it is. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. How did you guys feel with some of these signings? How did you feel with the Shaq Griffin signing? Marvin Jones. Supposedly, I think we're supposed to sign his twin brother. I read that and heard that, but I haven't seen nothing. So it'll just be a special teams guy. But let me know what you guys think in the comment about the signings, and that's that for this video.